You are listening to Season 5 of No Silver Spoons, hosted by Beth Herman. This season is a celebration of growth, resilience, and the kind of success that is built, not handed out. Beth is a 5-time CEO, a leader who teaches others how to scale, move through self-doubt, and use the power of neuroplasticity to change their lives and their businesses. She created No Silver Spoons to remind you that no one rises alone. Every episode in this season brings real stories, honest lessons, and the journey behind becoming the kind of entrepreneur who refuses to quit. You will also notice that many episodes come in series, so when you find one that speaks to you, stay with it. A lot of these episodes also include digital downloads that help you keep growing, and you can find those in the show notes. Welcome to Season 5. There is so much to celebrate. So without any further ado, here's your host, Beth Herman.
Welcome back to No Silver Spoons. I'm your host, Beth Herman, and this week we have a little bit different of a podcast. We're doing a podcast swap. I was recently on a podcast with Dr. Farran, and I'd love to welcome you to hear how that went. If you are on YouTube listening to this, you can absolutely see the video of it. If you're tuning in from anywhere else that you get your favorite podcast episodes from, feel free to download, save, comment, or share with your favorite dental bestie. We're talking all things dental insurance. Lots of great carrots in there. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this awesome podcast co-host with Dr. Farran.
It is just a huge, huge honor for me to be podcast interviewing my buddy and mentor, Beth Herman, MBA. She's a nationally recognized leadership educator, entrepreneur, and servant leadership expert with more than 2 decades of experience helping dental practices grow through people, systems, and accountability. As the CEO of Dentistry Support and Dentistry Support Academy and Beth Herman, LLC, she has built a reputation for transforming practices by strengthening operations, elevating team performance, and creating healthy, sustainable workplace cultures. Her work is rooted in a people-first philosophy, combining high standards with practical systems that drive real results. Beth recently earned her MBA from Grace Christian University, graduating summa cum laude, a reflection of her commitment to excellence and lifelong learning. Under her leadership, Dentistry Support was honored with the 2025 Torch Award for Ethics by the Better Business Bureau, recognizing the organization's integrity, transparency, and commitment to doing business the right way. She leads a global team spanning 9 countries and provides hands-on support to practices across the United States through mentorship, SOP development, and both virtual and on-site training. Known for her energy, clarity, and direct approach, she helps dental teams build consistency, improve communication, operate at a higher level. Beth is also the host of the No Silver Spoons podcast, reaching tens of thousands of listeners, where she shares insights on leadership, growth, and real-world business challenges. With a passion for service and a focus on sustainable success, she continues to empower dental professionals to build stronger businesses and more fulfilling careers. And I just want to start with my first question to you, and that is, the young dentists aren't happy.
Yeah.
I know I'm 63. The only thing next on my calendar is a dirt map. And they look at me and they say, oh, you graduated in the good old days. And they got $500,000 of student loans. They got DSOs. They're mad at the ADA. They're mad at dental insurance. The insurance companies haven't caught up with our fee schedules. They've had a ton of inflation. And it looks like about 20% of the hygienists left during COVID because of all the aerosols. So do you have any good news for the kids? Anything?
I do.
Can you make something up?
And I don't even have to make it up. It's just that I think over time, I started in dentistry when I was 17 years old, and I was literally filing charts in a back office. And we have made dentistry so complicated. We have added AI for this, and we've made billing so complicated and eligibility so complicated. And should I be in network with all these insurances? And how do I make this one decision? But oh no, my front office just quit for $1 more an hour to the dental office down the street, right? It's the same thing at every dental office, right?
That hurts just to hear this thing.
I know, but that's everyone's story. And it makes me sad to think that dentistry is that complicated. And so if there's anything that you hear from me today, it's that dentistry is not that complicated. It doesn't have to be that hard. And I can give you a couple quick little tips that'll make it as easy as it actually should be. And you can remove the noise, because a lot of the reason we think it's so bad, we think we're so angry with it, we're so frustrated, is because there's a lot of noise. And sometimes you just have to get to that 30,000 foot elevation and get out of the weeds to be able to see it. I think that's what we're missing the most. Let me give you a good example of it, okay? A lot of dental offices are like, I'm not collecting what I'm producing, or I have really high AR, or, something around billing is the problem, because money is what we're all thinking, right? It's how can I get the money that I need to make? Insurance isn't paying what they should be paying.
A lot of dental students don't know what AR is.
Okay, dental billing, accounts receivable. That's what I'm talking about today, okay? Well, right now, let's talk about dental billing. You'll hear that spoken to as dental billing, AR, accounts receivables. You'll hear those words. What I mean when I say that is just how you're getting your money in. So whether the insurance is paying you, whether the patient's paying you, where are you getting the money, and why isn't it in when it should be? There's really, really simple rules when it comes to this. So what I'll say is this: when you open your practice, when you start working in your office, I want you to have one expectation and one expectation only. And that's that we work every claim every 10 days, and that we always collect what we produce in the same month we produce it. And if a dental office team member tells you that's not possible because of insurance, that's not possible because of our patient base, that's not possible because of our demographic, I want you to ignore all of those excuses. And I want you to recognize that there is something called an insurance commissioner, which is someone who has regulated how insurance companies have to pay you. And insurances today, they operate in ways that are unfair to dentistry, and they also operate in ways that protect dentistry. And you may not hear that from anybody else. You might hear them say, dental insurance is trash, or dental insurance stinks, or I hate dental insurance. Well, we're here, so we've got to play the game. So if we've got to play the game, and that's the truth, then we have to understand the things that are on our side with dental insurance, which means how quickly they pay us. For example, you go file a claim with MetLife online, they're going to adjudicate that claim, which means process it in 24 hours. So if we know that's true, why are we waiting till a claim gets to 30 days aging, 60 days aging, 90 days aging before we're looking at it? If we know that they are going to pay that within 24 hours, why wouldn't we work those things quicker? Why wouldn't we pick our team, design it in a way where this person does this job, or get a third party? I mean, I'm pro third party, but that's because I run a company that does this virtually. But if you've got in-house people, let's utilize them the right way.
What is third party to a dental student? What are you doing for dentists? You're processing their insurance.
Yeah. So my main brand is Dentistry Support. That's where I started. So not dental support, but dentistry support. So what we do is we virtually support dental practices all over the United States, and the United States only. I don't work in Canada or anywhere else. What we do is we're your entire front office team. So instead of you paying someone $20, $30, $45, $50 an hour to work your front office, depending on state, because there are some states where you're paying $50 an hour for a front office person.
San Francisco.
Which is crazy, right? But you're going to pay a fraction of that to work with my team. And it's a flat rate. So we don't charge like a percentage of collections or anything like that. It's based on FTE, which means how many full-time employees do we need on your practice. And when we work your office, we essentially do your billing, we do your eligibility, we do your phones, we handle credentialing, all the things that would make up an administrative team at a dental practice, my company handles.
Okay, even the older dentists don't know what credentialing means.
So credentialing means who are you in network with and who are you out of network with insurance. And that's really a 30,000 foot vantage point. You can kind of dumb that down a little bit by saying, when you're in network with someone, what are the fees that they pay you upon? You'll have a fee schedule, maybe your top 20 to 30 codes, and you can negotiate the rates with most dental insurance companies on how much they'll reimburse you for services performed in your office. So credentialing just means, how am I in network with them? How do they pay me when I'm in network with them? And you'll hear a lot of feedback on being out of network, because that's kind of the trend right now, is get out of network. Be just fee for service, meaning just take patients, but don't be in network with anybody because insurances rob you on what they pay. So we can dig into that a little bit deeper, but essentially
We have to dig into that real deep. He's trapped in the dog tower.
So, all right. So let's talk credentialing for a minute. We'll sidebar this, and then I'll kind of go into the billing part that I was going to talk about. So when we talk credentialing, you might open a practice tomorrow, or you might be in the middle of building a practice, or you're going to go work for a DSO, okay? And they're going to talk to you about who they're in network with, or you're going to choose who you're in network with. If we were to take, for example, Delta Dental, big player, right? Everybody's heard of Delta Dental. They've heard the horror stories of Delta Dental and how they pay and how they combine services. So you'll say, do I want to be in or out of network with Delta? Now, if you're out of network with Delta.
Can I just say one thing?
Yep.
There's like a lot of different Deltas.
Yeah.
So are you talking about in network with all Delta or out network?
Yes.
Or are you talking about you have this relationship with, you might be in network with Delta of Arizona, but not Delta of California? Or
yeah. So that's even deeper. So let's say, for example, you're looking at Delta Dental. You can choose to be globally in network with them. You can choose to be just a certain tier level in network with them. You can choose many different things. But at a high level, when you decide to be in network, well, you'll work with someone at their credentialing team to decide how you want to be in network with them. They'll give you a slew of options. There will be some decisions you'll have to make with that. Oftentimes, new practice owners or new dentists are going with like a credentialing type company. There's many of them out there, and they'll teach you things like how to be in an umbrella, which is like, hey, I can be in network with this kind of plan that also includes these 60 dental insurances, and it pays this specific way on this specific fee schedule. So credentialing just means, how am I in network? What are the parameters of my agreement with them? What is the benefit to my practice to be in network with them? Or on the complete opposite end of that, if I don't want to be credentialed at all, can you still operate a dental practice without being credentialed? The answer is yes, absolutely you can. But there are things that you want to know. You can't just say, oh, I don't want to be in network, because there are different ways insurance do and don't pay you. For example, if you're out of network with insurance, you might find that the insurance company will only pay the patient the reimbursement. They won't actually send it to the office unless you change what's called assignment of benefits. So that's a key thing to write down from this episode. What does assignment of benefits mean? Assignment of benefits means, hey, I'm out of network with this insurance company. When I call to verify benefits, I'm going to find out, hey, I'm out of network. How does this insurance pay when I file a claim? Oh, this insurance pays the patient. Can I get an assignment of benefits so that you pay the dental office? Because let's be honest, if the insurance company pays the patient $2,000 for that crown buildup and root canal, which is not enough money as it is, and they get the check, you think they're going to give it to the dental office or the dentist? No. They're not.
Because desperate people do desperate things.
That's right.
And if they're poor and they're struggling, they're about to get their car taken.
That's right.
And they get this check.
$2,000.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to the store.
Do you think the insurance company, they know what they're doing?
Yes.
So they're not helping their patient.
Right.
Because more people would do this. You know, it seems like an intentional.
Something that you need to know as a dentist, as a provider, is that dental insurance companies are not in the business to pay claims. They're not in the business to benefit their insurers or the people that are getting paid by the insurance plan. They're in the business to make things look really, really, really good for their shareholders. And so if you know that information going into it, you can approach how you are in or out of network and how you file claims and how you research claims from a completely different vantage point.
But Delta, they tell everybody they're a nonprofit.
Okay. Can we just clarify nonprofit for a minute? I know we're doing a lot of sidebars. We can organize this later. When people say nonprofit, that does not mean that there is not profit somewhere in here. Okay, Rolex is a nonprofit organization.
Seriously.
I'm wearing a Rolex right now. They're a nonprofit organization. Go look it up.
Wow.
So now that you have that information, I need you to separate a little bit of the church and state in your mind between what you think a nonprofit is. Because if I say I'm a nonprofit, you immediately, your heartstrings are pulled. Honestly, we think nonprofit and we think a foster care facility. We think a dog shelter. We think something that serves the less fortunate. Am I right? Right. So nonprofit.
Or Sears. Yours is a nonprofit.
There you go. Okay. So nonprofit is just a business structuring. Let's just leave it at what it truly is and understand that Goodwill is a nonprofit. Okay. Goodwill, if you look up, I mean, we're not going to get into politics today, but if you were to look up Goodwill, you'd never step a foot or donate a thing to Goodwill again, just because of how it's set up and the way that their employees are mistreated. There's a lot to go there.
So someone's making money at Goodwill?
People are making big money at Goodwill. And if you looked at what their reporting shows, millions and millions of dollars their C-suite is making. So just because someone is a nonprofit doesn't mean they don't have a profit. Okay. And we're not going to get into business structuring today, but regardless of someone being a nonprofit, that doesn't mean that there aren't investors. That doesn't mean there aren't things that exist so that business continues to bring money in. Let's not misconstrue nonprofit by thinking that means this business doesn't have any money, doesn't make any money, because the truth is no business can exist on no money. The world works on money moving, right? So let's take that piece out. That's a great marketing tactic. I love that Delta Dental leads with that. But we're not going to use that as we look at our dental practices. We're going to take a step back and think for a minute, how does an insurance company work? If you look at historically how you receive payments, you're going to notice a couple things. At the end of every quarter and at the end of every year, payments are going to slow down. Why do you think? If I were to ask you, why would that ever happen with dental insurance payments? What would you think?
The year-end numbers high, the year-end profit high.
There you go. There you go. So, and same with quarters, right? So you get to the end of a quarter and you're like, wait, where's all our money? Why am I not getting payments in? And immediately you want to choke the throat of whoever is your front office. You're not doing your job. Well, they very well might be doing their job, but it's out of their control. So we have to prepare for certain patterns of things. We have to have knowledge of things so that we can actually approach things a whole lot better. We got to stay on top of it like nobody's business. Let me give you an example. In billing, I'm kind of going back to that again now that we've kind of touched on credentialing. Now I'm going back to billing. If we want to have billing where we collect in the same month what we produced, and we have that 98, 99% collections that we all dream of, that every new dentist gets out of school and attends a business meeting or a conference of some sort that they hear 98% collections, 99% collections, but then they pull theirs and they're at 87% or 75%. When we want that, we have to expect very simple things from our team, and we have to not overdo it. We have to not overcomplicate it, and overcomplicate it means listening to the noise. I can't get a hold of insurance. I'm waiting on hold for too long. That's just the way that insurance works. They take forever. I was in a dental office in Maryland 3 weeks ago doing a week-long mentorship, coaching them on their billing. They had a third-party person who was working from home. Third-party person meaning they have their own company. They work from home and they do the billing. They have 5 offices that they do billing for, but this gal happens to work from home. She shared with the office that it takes on average about 3 to 6 months for them to get a reply back from the VA in order for them to be able to get a patient approved. And sometimes you get them in 30 to 60 days, but the overall tone when I spoke with her personally and what the rumor was in the office was that it took this 3 to 6 month timeline to get cases approved. And to get payment for things could be anywhere from 3 to 6 months to get that payment in. I got on the phone with the VA. I spent all of 3 minutes, maybe 5. If it was 5 minutes, I would be shocked, asking them some very simple questions. What is your turnaround time on claims being paid? What is your turnaround time on getting approval for patients to receive services? By the way, get in network with the VA. The VA is Veterans Affairs, where they have benefits for dentists to be able to provide services for those veterans that need services.
So VA will pay for a veteran to go to a dentist outside of the VA?
Yeah, absolutely. They will. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. It's wonderful, actually. And you can get a network with them and they pay 100% of whatever is needed to be done. So let's just say, for example, someone needs a crown, maybe they need 3 crowns, 6 fillings, they need a deep cleaning, all of that. You would submit their entire treatment plan The VA will review it, of course. I mean, they're not just approving everything that comes through, but they will have it reviewed by their dentists. You send in intraorals, all imaging, everything, perio charting, all the stuff from the exam, everything, right? They'll approve it and get it back to you. And once they approve it, you can do everything. And there's a fee schedule the VA follows, which is quite generous, comparatively speaking, to your traditional dental insurance. And once that's approved, you can do all of those services, submit it, and be paid, right? Well, in this particular office, this particular person doing their billing had stated that it was this 3 to 6 month timeline for everything. So on this call with the VA, I asked all these questions. If you want to get a patient approved for services, it's about a 3 to 7 day turnaround time for approval. You fax it in here, they review it, they get it back to you. Within a week, we could have that patient back. This office was sometimes up to 6 months before they were getting a patient back. Payment, the exact same. Send your claim in, your payments, in under 10 days, we were able to get payments back in. So sometimes there's a lot of noise. I'm mentioning this because there's a lot of noise. This particular office had well over 6 figures in outstanding AR. I won't disclose the dollar amount, but well over 6 figures. And the majority of those were VA patients. And the excuse, the noise from who was doing their billing was that it just takes longer because it's this kind of insurance. That's not always true. So we need to take a step back, have simple expectations of our team, and not make billing so complicated. Here are some key, simple expectations you can have of your team when you go start at an office, when you're working for an office, or when you're getting hired on in a practice that takes in dental insurance of any kind. We work our claims every 10 days, meaning I call every claim that's outstanding every 10 days. So that means in a month, you should have 3 touch points for every claim. Why 10 days, Sarah Beth? What does 10 days mean? Here's what 10 days means. The average dental insurance company has many automations, AIs, technologies that are already part of their system. And because of that, adjudication or claim processing, when I say adjudication, I just mean claim processing, that happens at a rapid speed. Now, yes, there are some manual approvals that go on. But for the majority of claims, they are adjudicated in 24 to 48 hours. Because we know that's true, we allow 7 to 10 days for that claim to be snail mailed through the USPS for that check to get to you. Your office should be on EFTs. You don't need to go with Zealous or any of those other companies out there to get EFTs. The dental insurance companies will pay you via EFT, and they will literally send that to you. If you are getting visas in the mail, call them, ask them to reissue it as a hard check. Get on EFTs. You're going to get your payments so fast. But if our first standard on our SOP, on our standard operating procedure is we work claims every 10 days, then that's the first rule. Second, we collect what we produce in the same month we produce it. So if we're going to produce $100,000 this month, we're going to collect $100,000. Oh, well, Sarah Beth, what about the last week of the month when maybe insurance isn't cutting checks as frequently? Okay, well, now our third rule of thumb is our over-the-counter collections. We have an expectation of our team to have over-the-counter collections at a certain dollar amount. If we know that, and I'm going to use the word insurance utilization. That word just means how many of my patients are using insurance? How many of them? Out of 10 patients I see a day, how many of them have insurance and what percentage of that is covered by insurance? The typical dental office is around 60 to 70% utilization. So 60 to 70% of the money you bring in a month is from insurance. So if we know that information, then the other portion has to be over-the-counter collections. And we've got to measure our team on. We've got to say, Sarah Beth, if we're going to bring in $100,000 over the course of the 20 days that we're open in a month, I need to collect this much over the counter every day because I know I'm going to get this much from insurance this month. So I literally map that out and I set those goals for my team. If my team researches every 10 days, I'm getting the money within 10 days. I'm getting it in the same month I produce it. And if they collect over the counter this specific dollar amount, then I know that I'm going to get to my 99%. We don't have to hear all the noise about how long this insurance takes to pay, how they don't process claims as fast. how hard it is to wait on hold from the insurance company to get a claim paid, use an online portal. My team works hundreds of thousands of claims every month, and we successfully use portals for the majority of that work. Portals meaning I log in online to MetLife's portal, like their MetLife.com login for the user. My practice is registered. I can see the status of claims right there. So every claim I submit to them, I can see the pending status.
And every dental insurance does that for you. Delta, Blue Cross, Blue
Yeah,
Shield,
they all offer that. Absolutely.
Okay, but back to your deal. If you collected $100,000 in dental insurance checks, what should the over the counter be?
So if we're doing $100,000 a month, the average dental office is open 20 days a week or 20 days a month on average. I mean, if they're 4 days or 5 days, I don't know, but let's just say 20 days. So let's divide that by 20. So that means we have $5,000 a day of collections. Let's go 60%. Let's times that by 60%. So $3,000 a day is going to be paid by insurance. So $2,000 of that would need to be collected over the counter from our patients. That's done in multitude of ways. We can collect that from the patient portion from treatment plans that are being done today, or we can collect that by future scheduled appointments, right? So, hey, Sarah Beth, I know that you have a crown scheduled. Your portion of that appointment is $400. I'll collect that for you today. So when you come in for your appointment, you don't have to worry about taking care of any sort of balance with me. It's already taken care of. Confidence right out the gate. I speak to this on my podcast as well, No Silver Spoons, about having confidence when we're talking about payment. Much of our front office team members, they have and much of us, everybody has this issue. It's an issue with money. How do I talk to someone about collecting $500 if I don't have $500?
So back to if it's $5,000 a day, they should be collecting how much?
$2,000 over the counter, $3,000 comes from insurance.
So if you collect $1 from insurance, there should be co-payments of 40 cents.
Yeah, roughly. And that's just giving you an average number.
And if you collect $100,000 a month from just insurance checks, you should be also collecting how much co-payments?
I would say another $40,000 in co-payments a month. If you were doing $100,000 in insurance, maybe a little bit more than that. But what I would say is that if your question is, how would I ever meet that $2,000 difference or that 40% difference in over the counter, a lot of it has to do with the way that we teach our team, the way we coach our team, and the way we understand the disconnect between money that happens. Because oftentimes it's not that it's impossible to collect money from patients. It's that we put mental barriers between how we communicate confidently to patients about what it is. If you look at medical insurance, no one bats, right? Oh, I have chemotherapy. I just have to pay for it. I broke a leg. I have to pay for it. I had to take my daughter to the emergency room for a bloody nose. It was a $500 copay. I had to pay it. Nobody balks at it. We might not like it, but with dental, there's this overarching black cloud on dentistry that says dentistry is taking advantage of patients. Dentistry is too expensive. Does anyone know how much it costs to become a dentist? Do you understand that most things are disposable? And so you're literally throwing money away, even if you didn't use the cotton rounds. I mean, it's insane how much it costs. So my dream when I got into dentistry and I learned more about how much it actually costs to be a dentist, I learned that my goal needs to be make dentistry better and make people understand, make dentists understand that dentistry doesn't have to be so hard. It's very easy for you to collect what you produce in the same month, especially if you're in network with insurances. They have to pay you. I mean, especially if you accept insurance, not even if you're in network. If you accept insurance in any way, money should be free flowing. If it's not, it's a billing problem. That's it. That's the answer. There's no other magical thing that someone needs to know about. If you're not collecting what you're producing in the same month, there's a problem in billing. That's it.
The problem is my dental assistant, I hired Jen when I started and she was there when I retired. No turnover, but she went to school to become a dental assistant. My hygienist went to school. I went to school.
Yeah.
And then you hire the front desk, from Indeed.
Yeah.
And there's no school. They're not educated. And then you go to small businesses, like you go to any machine shop in Kansas.
Yeah.
The only two people making the money is the owner.
Yeah.
And the salesman taking incoming calls and calling out. That guy's in a 3-piece suit with a briefcase. everybody making the metal factory, they have a lunch pail, $25 an hour, or whatever. And to demonstrate that person taking incoming calls and sending out your number one salesperson, the first contact when they call or come in off the street, no training.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why dentistry should be ran totally different in the age that we're in right now. And I'm going to explain to you how I think a front office should be run and how we should train and coach them and what their goals should be aligned with. One, I think that the front office is the biggest revolving door because you get a new person in, you offer to pay them what they want, and then 6 months later, they leave for $1 more an hour down the street, which this happens all the time. Second to that, when you get the new person in, they believe they are the supreme expert in dentistry and that they know everything because of what their last office did. And my argument to that, and this may sound crass, is that if that dental office was so good, why aren't you there? And if that works so well, why did you leave there? I don't want to hear how dentistry was so great at the last dental office. And in fact, I don't hire a single person with dental experience that works for my company. Over 700 people I've hired since 2014, and not one of them I have hired with dental experience, not one. And I will forever stand on that mountaintop preaching to never hire with dental experience because
For the front desk.
I believe that no matter what anybody says, and this might ruffle some feathers, that is a sales position. All day long, that is a sales position. That is not a dental position. Leave the dental to the dentist and the dental assistant who went to school. This is totally to prove what you just said. So I believe wholeheartedly that treatment plan presentations happen by the dental assistant. I do not believe your front office should do that. I believe that the dentist should be educating the patient on why they need services and how they will be performed, and that your dental assistant should be confident enough to explain that to the patient, get them to sign their things, and then your money lady can come in right after that. But your front office person should never be someone who has dental experience. Hire the best person from Starbucks. Hire somebody through the Dunkin' drive-thru that wowed you on that speaker. Hire a waitress that is so good at selling cocktails. Hire someone who has been in pharmaceutical sales. I don't care how you want to do it. And then put them on a base plus commission. All right, if we hit 98% collections this month, I'm giving you a $500 bonus. If we hit 99% collections, I'm giving you a $550 bonus. If we hit 101% collection, I'm giving you a $2,000 bonus. Sarah Beth, why the jump? Because that's how important it is to me to get 101% collections and teach my salesperson to pre-collect for future appointments. Because today is the most important day, and then tomorrow. Tomorrow, we could have another shutdown and the office could have to be closed for whatever reason, but I'm still collecting my money today. And that's the most important thing.
I remember you heard of the Great Wolf Lodge?
Yes.
I remember going there and
It's dream.
And they have this new time sharing deal where you can actually buy a time sharing condo.
Yeah.
And I just she starts pitching and I just kind of giggle and walk and I say something and she just kept coming back. And it wasn't even 10 minutes. I flipped the whole time sharing deal to, I need you to work for me. I mean, you just won't say no. Every time I say something, you come back. She had the energy. She had the confidence. It's
That's right.
That's who I want answering my phone. That's who I want outside. I don't give a crap.
Yep.
If she knows anything about dentistry.
I don't need her to know all the steps and the levels of products that we put on before the crown is cemented. I don't care if she knows what a scaler is. I don't care if she knows what a Cavitron is. I don't care if she knows what the laser is, what it does, and all the benefits. I just want her to be able to upsell every hygiene appointment so that instead of us having an $800 hygiene day, we have a $3,200 hygiene day because we added fluoride, laser bacteria reduction, desensitizing medicaments, all the things. I want them to be able to sell. I want a salesperson at my front desk that can shake hands, kiss babies, and absolutely adore on anybody who walks in that door so that more people come in.
Yeah, and have dental assistants that, well, if we're going to do the two fillings over here, let's just numb the other side. I mean, come on, you're going to just knock this out?
Yeah.
So now a $200 appointment just went to $400 or $1,000.
And every new dentist out there needs to understand that dentistry really is this simple. If you are a dentist that is confident in what you do, and you understand that really the barrier to everyone starting treatment comes down to three basic fundamentals. It's either time, fear, or money, right? So I either don't have enough time, I either am scared of the dentist, or I don't have money. If you understand that the barrier to starting today is one of those three things, and you have a great assistant next to you that backs your play, loves you as a dentist, believes in what you perform, the two of you can get anyone to start treatment today. The money person's just collecting. You've already sold it there on why it needs to be done. You're doing the part, right? You and your dental assistant are a team. Your front office person does not need to understand what RCT is. They don't need to understand what a 2750 is. They don't need to know any of that. Your dental assistant's putting the treatment in, so it's coded right. You as a dentist have diagnosed properly. Your dental assistant believes in you. They're presenting the treatment. Your front office, very simply put, they're collecting the money and they're making sure billing happens. I think we can separate it out and have different measures of accountability. Let me give you an example of this. So with Dentistry Support, my company, one of the things early on that I used to cringe when I would hear is, what has your company done for me lately? Yeah, you do my billing. Yeah, you handle my phones. Yeah, you do my eligibility. But what have you done for me lately? What is my $3,000 a month covering? And then immediately as a small business owner, you go into justifying. Oh, well, we did this and we did this and we did this. And then I thought to myself, why am I even having these conversations? Why not lead with the end in mind? So that's a Stephen Covey thing. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People begin with the end in mind, right? So if I'm going to do that, and I know that sometimes I'm going to talk to a dentist that's going to get a wild hair and they're going to want to know all the things because they're mad about their collections. What can I do to make that better? Now, there's a lot of salespeople that might be listening to this very episode thinking, oh, well, my product is the best. I have Sika. I have Dental Intelligence. I have da-da-da-da-da. That's going to tell them everything they need to know. All of that's a lot, okay? And they all serve a purpose. Don't get me wrong. All of those softwares serve a purpose. But it's a lot of information for a dentist that just randomly has a wild hair and wants to know something. They don't actually want to look at it every day because they're not business people. They work with their hands and they want to work with their hands, and that's okay. So what we're going to do is my company, Dentistry Support, every day we provide a daily recap report, and every month an MSR, which is a monthly success reporting. And what we do every day is we say, in the last 24 hours, this is how your business performed. This is what we produced. This is what we collected. This is what we billed out to insurance. These are your anticipated collections coming in. Anytime the dentist wants to know, pull those reports. They're there at 7 a.m. every day. Awesome. At the end of the month, here's how your business performed. You produced this, you collected this. They don't need to understand how the claim is paid. They need to know what metrics to look for. The metrics to look for. Am I collecting what I'm producing every month? If my productions says $100,000 and I collected $80,000 and we wrote off $20,000, that is a question you need to ask. Why did this happen? That's insane.
So what % of production is collected?
Yes.
What's the easiest way to say that?
So if I produce 100,000, the best dental offices out there are collecting at 99%. The best ones. I want to collect at 101. So my goal is to incentivize my front office to have 101% and give them a massive bonus at 101% collections, because I know that they're going to strive for that. They're going to want that big money.
What's your bonus?
So this is just what I think they should be. On a $100,000 a month office, I think that at 98% collections, we do $500.
Okay.
At 99%, they get $50 more, just a small little carrot. But at 101% of collections, we give them $2,000.
Damn, girl. I want the 101%.
That's right. So does your dentist. So does your dentist.
Incentives have to align.
They have to align. Now, you can break that up however you want. I know a dental practice in Washington, and I know she's going to listen to this episode. So I'm so sorry to whoever you are. You know who you are. I'm not going to say her name. She's going to listen to this and she's going to be like, Sarah Beth, I know you told my office. What they do, their practice does $900,000 a month. They bonus $250 at 99%. They do $900,000 a month. I'm sorry, $250 at 98, $300 at 99, and at 101, they get $500. So you can spread it however you want. My basic thing I want you to understand, my philosophy is that you give a good bonus at 98, you give a tiny bit more at 99, and you give a banger at 101. like an absolute banger out of the park.
Okay, but she's asking, she's in dental school. She's saying, how can you collect 101% of your money? I mean, if I go buy a bottle of water for $1, how do they collect $1.01?
Pre-collecting for the next one. So this is Sarah Beth. I've got you on the schedule for 2 weeks from now. You're getting those 2 crowns and that filling. Your portion is $800. I'm going to go ahead and collect that from you now. We'll make sure your appointment is set up. You won't have to worry about paying for anything when you come in that day. We've got you all taken care of. And it's very fluid. It's very much like that. It's Sarah Beth. I'm going to go ahead and collect now for that appointment in 2 weeks. Honestly, you don't want to have to worry about money the day you're coming in. I already know you're anxious about it. Blank. Done. Or we have Klarna, Affirm, Cherry, Sunbelt, whatever. We're going to go ahead and take care of all of that today. You don't have to worry about it when you come in. You are doing the patient a service by pre-collecting. You are helping them make their appointment in the future better by collecting now. And that's the mindset we want our salesperson to have. And if you have a salesperson up front, that's how that will work. We also should change that title. Stop calling them your front office. Stop calling them patient coordinator. Stop calling them whatever. Change their name to business assistant.
We just get the front office desk employees.
Yeah.
So we named the hygienic dental chair employees and the assistant dental stool employees. And we just start naming everybody out furniture.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I wanted to be a stool.
Honestly, if they're a business assistant, they know that they're thinking about the business.
So you call them business associate or
business assistant?
Business
They
assistant?
assist the business.
And what do you call hygienists and dentists and assistants?
Dentist, hygienist, dental assistant, just what they are.
And then everybody up front is a business assistant.
Business assistant.
Okay. Now, do you believe in a head office manager?
There's 2 ways to run your dental office. One, you have all of these positions fulfilled in person, in office, right? The other is you have a company handle everything virtually for you. The reason Dentistry Support exists is because we want to aim to consume less of the P&L, less of the profit and loss statement. So as a new dentist, new grad, you're coming out of dental school, how much of my P&L, my profit and loss statement, that might be the first time you've ever heard of that spoken, or maybe you've heard of a P&L before. When I first heard of a P&L, I thought it was a P, letter N, letter L. Just so everybody can have a little giggle. I didn't know it was P and L. So everybody can get a little giggle out of that. But now I know it's a P and L. So for all of you that have never heard of it before, it's a P and L, a profit and loss statement. And there are percentages that your CPA is going to expect that you know and understand, and you keep budgets in those certain percentages. And I'm sure we could have 6 more podcast episodes breaking apart this one and kind of going off on tangents. But I'll tell you the most important
No,
ones.
we could have a series of 6 articles in Dental Town magazine that write the whole thing and we'll publish the whole thing.
You got it. And I'll totally do that for you. So let's talk P&L for a second. As a new grad, you want to know the biggest numbers, right? You don't care about the 1% for supplies or the 2% for this. You care about the big numbers. And the big numbers in a dental office are payroll. Big, right? So the average dental office, you're going to see their payroll be anywhere from 28 to 49% of their P&L of all their money is payroll. Their payroll, staff payroll, all of that payroll.
Does that also include the dentist?
Yeah.
pay?
So I'm saying up to 49% is going to include dentist pay. Right.
Okay, that's even if he's the owner of his own
If
practice.
he's the owner of his own practice.
They always peanut butter and jelly their own numbers. I used to tell myself, I said, look, if I sold this dental office for $1 million and bought a 30-year tax-free bond from the U.S. government risk-free, I'd make a nickel on every dollar of that without getting out of bed. So if I'm going to get out of bed, and if I put an S&P stock market fund, I get 12%.
Yeah.
So I could be making 12% on the asset without getting out of bed.
Your profit number, you want it to be as big as you can. And the numbers that you can control, we want to focus on those. So what numbers from your P&L can you control? Well, in my opinion, I can control the staff dollar amount, the amount of money for the staff. So if my staff, let's say my front office, some front office staff, it blows my mind when I hear how much they're paying. But let's talk about that number for a minute. And
What's
how
your
we can
staff be called minus the dentist, whether it's the owner,
25 to 28% is typically staff.
25 to 28. But after the pandemic, a lot of my friends, for the first time in their life, passed 30. And some of them are some of the biggest names in dentistry. Like, I don't want to throw my buddy Rick Kirster under. But
Don't throw it under.
he was the king of mean and lean.
Yeah.
Last time we had dinner, he's got 100 offices, so he got a big variance, but he says, man, he's got 100 offices, but he's never seen labor like this in some of his offices.
It's so high.
He said some of them are near that magical 30. And this is from the guy who held it at 20% for decades and decades.
So how do we
decades.
lower that? I have the answer for you.
Okay.
The answer is you start exploring an offsite team, because my company, we aim to consume less than 3.5% of your entire P&L for a full front office team.
Are you saying that you take over the front desk, so when they walk in, there's no one even sitting there?
That's one option.
Are you serious?
And I have a second option,
And what's the second option?
that you have someone there that's your salesperson.
So if you're doing 100,000 a month, you could have one salesperson up there, and you guys can handle it all.
Yeah, and we'll
Because when
charge you $3,500 a month.
Okay, now
We'll
are
do
you
all your billing. We'll do
now
all
is
your
that phone internet? Is that internet phone? Because some people
your phones? It doesn't matter because they don't have an internet phone. Your phone lines can be forwarded to my virtual call center. And my phones team has a goal every month to add 10% up to your scheduled production every single month. That's their minimum
how
goal.
many employees do you have now?
Over 700
You have 700 employees.
in 9 different countries.
Practice management software, some of them are internet based and includes the phone. But some people say that unless your internet is on 100%, you lose phone calls. It's called voice over internet.
Voice over IP. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have ours is voice over IP.
And is that bleeding edge or leading edge? Is it there today? Is it good enough?
Oh, it's amazing.
So even for consumer calling and the front desk ladies in Mexico, it's still
Yeah, absolutely. And our system is so intelligent that if a phone call were to end, we know who it ended by. Oh, it was a disconnect by the caller, or it was a disconnect by us. And if it's by us, we can dissect what might have happened.
Is there a dental practice management software that you like more than the others?
Oh gosh, everyone asks me this. And I refer to a lot of different ones for different reasons. But my most favorite, oh gosh, I shouldn't say this unless they paid me. But my most favorite dental software is Open Dental. I love Open Dental. And yes, the interface is archaic. The interface truly is like a DOS machine. It's like Windows 90. But the comm log is amazing. The way you can put insurance on the comm log, it's literally called COMMLOG. Comm log is like where you can put all your communication log of like every interaction with a patient in. And then the insurance interface is so great because you can put all of the breakdown of benefits in really, really well. Whereas like Dentrix, even though they've made updates, it still doesn't work the way it should. So many of them just don't work the way they should.
And then they have the wrong business model. They want all this upfront cost, which is an economic barrier to entry. And Open Dental says, join us, just start paying a monthly fee.
That's right. And we'll just do it. And whatever.
We'll just do it.
And it works really well. Like it's, Dentrix, they want it big up front and then you pay. And then every little update or every report you need, or if you want to send this way or do it this way, it's all, they nickel and dime for a software that isn't fully capable of doing everything. Like our treatment coordinators in a dental office are still having to manually fix things in a treatment plan in Dentrix because maybe they didn't have this update or this update costs too much here or whatever. Open Dental is just there. It's just there and it's easy and it's not complicated. I'm going to remind these new dentists, stop listening to the noise. Don't go to the CareStack. And I work directly with many CareStack clients and many of the owners at CareStack. And I love them for different reasons, but they have almost too much. I would tell you, don't listen to all the noise in how a new cloud-based software is coming out because a lot of them are over-promising.
Cloud Stack?
CareStack. But these cloud-based or virtual-based dental softwares are overcomplicating their systems by trying to add in a verification of benefits, or they're trying to add in automatic billing, but it's not working right. It's like the adjustments don't come in right. They're writing off something that shouldn't be written off. They're denying something that shouldn't be denied. Human effort is needed. And in dentistry, because of how complicated insurances are and how they're different.
Let me stop just for a second on Delta Dental. How many different Delta Dentals are there?
Every state, multiple in a state.
So there's
39
different.
39.
And I got to tell you, when I moved out here, the head of Delta Dental was from Missouri. His name was Ed Judd. His board of directors was all the best. Or there wasn't one dentist on his board that you wouldn't refer your mom to. I call him up I'd have a question with them. We'd meet for lunch. I'd bring my front office team to his front office. They'd look at the deal. Because I was always complaining. I said, you're giving me way too much money for crowns, dentures, partials, this. Did you know when I started my dental office, the Dead Sea wasn't even sick? And back then I was paying my hygienist, I think $20 an hour in 87.
Yes.
And they were paying me like $28 for a cleaning. And I said, but then if I walked in the room, did 4 wisdom teeth, that's $1,000. If I went in there to molar root canal, it was $1,000. A crown was, everything was up. I said, I just need more money to cover the cleaning, exams, and x-rays is where I'm getting my butt kicked. And oh my God, we have all these conversations. And then over the years, they decided that, they don't need any dentists on their board like that. They need people to represent the patients, the people who don't know a damn thing about dentistry. And then they got dentists that will agree with what they said. I've seen Delta at its best, and now I've seen a long way from its best. And a lot of dentists are sitting there on Dental Town. They're always asking, well, what's the best AI to automate all my insurance claims? They don't want to pay their claims.
Yeah.
Delta Dental's 39 companies. How long would it take them to get a dozen AI software engineers and completely automate the claims process? And you send the claim and it's deposited in Chase. But could they do it?
They could, but let me tell you why they're not. And let me tell you why AI in dental billing and AI and eligibility is absolutely a farce.
Right.
Anyone that tells you that they've got it and that you should buy their software, you need to slam the door because it doesn't exist. Because listen to me, dental insurance is not in the business to pay.
Right.
They're not.
No insurance.
They're not.
Geico doesn't want to pay.
State Farm doesn't want to pay. Nobody wants to pay. Just think about it for a minute. What you are trying to know is, I'm going to give some words here, some acronyms that you may not have heard before, but hopefully this helps bring some light to it. So there's something called an API. An API is like a special key, a special bit of information that Delta Dental, MetLife, all these other insurance companies are going to give to a software developer. And they're going to say, software developer is going to go, hey, Delta Dental, I want my software to be able to read your breakdown of benefits so I can create a software that will give a full breakdown, file a claim, pay a claim, all this stuff. And I want to be able to sell this software to dental offices. So can I buy your API? And Delta Dental will say, sure. You can buy my API. And what they don't know is Delta Dental is going to give them a portion of the information because they're not going to give them full access to Delta Dental's platform, no matter how much money they want to spend. I don't care if it's $20 million they offer them. They're never going to give them all the information. But now said software company is going to have to go to every single dental insurance company that exists and ask for the exact same thing and pay for the exact same thing. And do you think every dental insurance company is going to give their full API to Joe Schmo AI? Because they're not in the business to pay. They're in the business to hold on to their money as long as possible because their shareholders want to be profitable. And I don't care if you're nonprofit, for-profit, LLC, S-Corp, C-Corp, whatever you are. I don't care what kind of business structure you have. You're trying to make money and you've got to be able to meet certain metrics as an organization. So selling an API to an AI company to create said software, it will never have all the information. Said software, like for the example software. The problem is that AI has become a buzzword. And it's this word of like, it makes my life easier. It makes me more money. It makes me more profitable. But in dentistry, because of the structure of how dental is paid with insurances, there are so many different factors. For example, Delta might pay $700 for a crown. MetLife might pay $800 and Aetna might pay $650. If that's true and all three of those numbers are different, that AI would have to know exactly how Delta is going to pay, exactly the type of insurance plan the patient has. There's so many anomalies. There's no perfect AI.
But I'm all pro. What you're talking about is AI, which is artificial incompetence.
When it comes to the business of dentistry. Now, let me tell you, I believe AI does belong in dentistry for other reasons. For example, there are tools and instruments now that you can literally point the instrument at a tooth and it'll tell you if it has even a micron of...
Let's disagree on this. I started... I got 4 sons. One of them's got a couple degrees in computer software. He came to me September 2023, which would be 3 years ago this September. And he came to me and he'd been telling me for 3 months that I got to download this ChatGPT. He came around my house and said, Dad, you got to do this. I mean, he's my son. He's been to my lecture a million times. I think he went with me to 32 different countries to lecture. And he showed me this AI and he was just so excited. And he finally I got religion on ChatGPT, and he told me, he said, Dad, I'm sorry, but your software is 25 years old. We can't put lipstick on a pig. We have to take it behind the barn and shoot it and rewrite the whole thing. And it'll take years. We're at 2.5 years. We're almost done. September will be 3 years. I feel like I'm a junior in AI school because, 2023, 2024, 2025. And like when you talk about these APIs, application programming interface, every day I'm in these artificial intelligence meetings. And here's what I believe. I believe that when you're talking about math, physics, chemistry, accounting, heavy quantitative data and images, it's here. But replacing a human conversation, people get upset when they get push one. Oh, like anytime you call the doctor, every time you go to the doctor, it's like, you're in an airplane, the flight attendant, her best messages to show you how to put a seatbelt on. I just want to stand. Is there anybody in the plane that doesn't know how to put a seatbelt? And then you call your doctor's office and tell you, if this is an emergency, call 911. So when I walk in there, I always say, this is not an emergency. But if you're having an emergency while you're treating me, why is this on your answer machine? It's so redundant. And they get mad at pushing buttons. And you think you're going to automate that with AI? I mean, humans are so complex.
And dentistry already has a cloud over us. So when you try to implement something that hasn't been perfected out, and that there are too many different anomalies to make that perfect, you're just going to get more angry patients. Because if you're going to trust AI to verify your benefits and that AI gets it wrong once, what are you going to tell your patient that now has a $3,000 bill they weren't expecting? Oh, sorry, my software screwed it up. They don't care. Why did you choose software? Why didn't you have a person doing it?
And look at the AI when you call Walgreens. They have 8,500 locations. With 8,500 locations with 6-year degree pharmacy each one, you'd think they got the biggest money. And whenever I call my pharmacist and go to AI, they can't ever get it right. And you'll ask them a question like, is my pills in? And it'll say, our office hours are.
Do you need to speak to a pharmacist instead?
When I call Walgreens, I just say pharmacist, pharmacist. And well, it's faster if you go to our website, pharmacist. Yeah. Well, have you tried calling the pharmacist? And finally they put you on a human. But I think the last thing that AI will take over is a human to human.
I think so too.
Element.
And I don't think that we should be so quick to jump to that. I think that we hear noise from our front office saying things like eligibility takes too long, billing takes too long, phones are ringing off the hook. Okay, if that's the case, let's bring that to a team offsite, lower our expenses in office, and keep the person in office selling and growing the practice.
The problem in dentistry is that if you go to an assembly plant, it'll make one car per hour. They decide they want to make 1 million cars. They'll divide it to 83,000.
Precisely.
Yeah. But the problem in dentistry is the phone might not ring for an hour, and then 4 people try to call all at the same time. Or you're 2 hygienists and everybody's checking everybody out at the end of the hour and checking it. So she was up there doing nothing for 30 minutes, and then the phone, it's just not steady. It's nothing. It doesn't flow. So how does your service help if all of a sudden 5 people call at the same time?
Well, for one, all the tasks that were happening at the front desk are no longer happening at the front desk. So for example, the billing is happening somewhere else. So the front office person doesn't have to worry about sending a claim when a patient comes to check out, right? When the patient comes in, they're not worrying about having to prepare an eligibility because that's being done offsite. We're not worrying about confirming appointments at the counter because my team's already confirming them. If the phone's ringing in the office and another one comes in simultaneously, it is automatically going to my team who's offsite that's going to get it right now, okay? Now, if you have someone coming and you have 3 people at one time, that whole hour while that front office team member was waiting for the patient to be done, this is their time to shine. We're going to pay attention to what's happening in the back office. Oh, they added a filling. Oh, they added a fluoride treatment. Okay, I already know I have their ledger done. If I have to collect payment, they should already be doing that in the office, in the operatory with the patient. So if we added the filling, the dental assistant already told the patient they needed it. The patient accepted it. They're doing it. The money person should have already come in the office at checkout. There should be no money collection. There should be nothing but have a nice day because we pre-collected for that appointment likely, or we collected in the operatory and they did it same day. Our dynamic completely changes. It's not the old school dynamic of do it as you check out, take all this time on the phone, yada, yada, yada. We're pre-collecting because we're trying to hit 101% collections, right?
How much do you remember the late Sally McKenzie?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love her. No one had a giggle like her.
No.
It was a scream. It was almost like a screech.
Yeah.
But she said that every dental office, these numbers come back from the 80s and 90s. She said that every dental office, they didn't add about $200 to $300 a day of just stuff they did. Like, oh, you took bite wings, but you forgot to add it to the bill. Oh, that doctor said, oh, this tooth's going to be numb. Should we just do the filling behind it? Oh, but it didn't get added. Or you took a PA. It just didn't. She said it was $200 to $300 a day per dental office.
You know what it is now?
What is it now?
And this is just x-rays, only x-rays. The average dental practice loses $3 million over the lifetime of not adding in x-rays that were done that we forgot to add in.
That would pay off your ex-wife. You could get a free divorce just for taking care of all.
Just x-rays alone.
And you know another thing Sally did? She was so funny. She was so much piss and vinegar. If they were complaining like, I can't believe I'm going to pay you $5,000 to come in for 2 days or whatever. So she'd say, so when she got there, she'd tell the doctor, just go have your normal day. And she'd go in there and she'd get on the phone and work the counter. She goes, Sarah Beth, I see you didn't make your payment and that's okay because right now I can take your MasterCard, Visa, American Express. How would you like to take care of that right now? And she would not come out of there, but she got her whole fee paid. She goes, oh, you're worried about paying me $5,000? I just collected $8,000 in your bank. So I'm already up $3,000. Can we begin now? She said there's not a dental office in America where she couldn't make $5,000 collections right now on your AR just calling.
There's a local dentist here that I worked for several years back and absolutely genuinely one of the nicest dentists I've ever met in my life. Great clinician, Dr. Eric Curbs. I hope you know him.
Yes.
One of the greatest men I've ever worked for. And he always told me, Sarah Beth, you have the magic. And I worked for him a very long time ago, but I came into I was a regional director of operations for him for several years. And I went into one of his dental practices that he bought. And he just happened to buy, he actually still owns this practice today. He sold off many of the others, but this one practice, he had just acquired it. And the old office manager in there, they had a patient in the back and the patient came in and it was going to be a $12,000 treatment. And the patient talked to the office manager. The office manager said, oh, they wanted to wait till later. They didn't want to do it right now. And the patient had their hands on the door leaving. And I was like, absolutely not. We don't let a patient with a $12,000 treatment plan leave saying that they're just not ready now or they wanted to wait. That doesn't work for me. I didn't say this, but in my mind, I'm freaking out because are you kidding me? That's a $12,000 bill and I'm going to collect it. No sooner did 45 seconds happen and I had the patient back in. They were giving me their credit card, prepaying for the entire treatment. It's how you look at it. It's the way you communicate. It's how your confidence is because that person was making $20 an hour behind on car payments, came to work disheveled, wasn't confident. I show up in my very best every single day. I believe that I know every person that walks in has money. I don't believe any other way. I just can't. Everyone has the ability to do it. And if they don't, they're lying to you or you haven't figured out a way to get to them. You can make anything happen. There is no reason your practice shouldn't collect 101% every month. There's no reason you shouldn't make your goals. It's a billing issue if you're not. Have the payment options. Be flexible in things. I don't mean by taking payments from patients on treatment on your ledger. I mean, get Klarna, get Affirm. These things are buzzwords and people are using them for
Get what?
Klarna. Klarna will give you the full dollar amount up front and then the patient pays every 2 weeks to Klarna. Or Affirm. These are all
Or what?
Affirm, AFFIRM.
AFFIRM.
Yeah, they offer 0% interest for 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. These are big players right now in payments, and everyone is making payments on everything. Care Credit and the days of using just Care Credit are over. There are so many other options today that dentists are not taking advantage of that we could get more patients to pay upfront treatment that we're just not doing because we're not doing it. I mean, that's simply it. It's not that it's hard to get someone approved or hard to get money. We're just not doing it.
Challenge.
You get something that you feel is a setback. Like maybe you're a new dentist, but you have an office and now you're worried about reviews because you got a bad review. Okay, listen, everybody gets a bad review. And if you don't have any bad reviews, someone's lying somewhere or you had someone remove them. Do you think that Walmart, Amazon doesn't have people they make mad? Okay, everyone's going to do that. Who cares? Like, stop letting things give you a setback. Stop letting something else tell you you shouldn't move forward. Like, just do it.
Dude, you're not going to believe this, sir. Sarah Beth.
Yeah.
The pyramids have bad reviews.
Oh, God.
I was going to
Everybody does.
I was
Cares
doing the
about reviews?
pyramids.
Get
I think
over
they're
it.
old. I think they look ugly. I don't even know why it can't. I mean, there's like 21 stars.
I mean, people need to get a grip.
Yeah,
It's really
people-
not that serious. And yes, you're still going to have patients. I don't care if you got a bad review on Monday. Tuesday, you're still going to have new patients. Next Monday, you're still going to have a crown seat. Like, life goes on. Okay. So open the practice, hire the employee, get another location. Do it. Do it for yourself. Do it for your future generations. Just do it.
We got to wrap this up.
Okay.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much for all you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This was great.
Thank you for joining today's episode of No Silver Spoons with your host, Sarah Beth Herman. If this conversation gave you something real to take into your life or your work, stay connected by following the show, rating, and subscribing. You can learn more about Sarah Beth's work in the dental industry at dentistrysupport.com, where she leads a global virtual support company that has changed the way practices run their operations. You can also connect with her on her Instagram at mentor.sbh to follow her leadership teaching, her story, and the behind the scenes of a 5-time CEO who has dedicated nearly 25 years to helping teams grow. Many episodes on this season come with great digital downloads that you can find in the show notes. And if you feel inspired to be a guest or share your own journey, there's a link there as well. Thank you for being part of Season 5. Your growth matters here.